Could you explain the criminal Lula acquittal situation? Most of Latino America believes is a criminal. Dude, it is crazy. It just doesn't make sense. They put him in jail for like the lightest of god charges they could possibly find in a country that is so goddamn corrupt to the bone. He was deeply popular. He was still popular even in jail. The reason why this is a continuing narrative is because right-wing memers are blasting it and continues to say like he's a criminal, he's a criminal, he's a criminal, he's a criminal. And then also Western propaganda, despite the fact that Western leadership is actually very supportive of Lula overall, let's be real. Like Joe Biden immediately said, congratulations to Lula for winning. This motherfucker went to jail unjustifiably by Bolsonaro and Bolsonaro allies, and they still, like, people are still going, oh my God, he's such a criminal. Meanwhile, the streets of Brazil are lit, okay? People are celebrating. I've got a Brazilian coworker who says Brazil under Lula was the most graft since the Roman Empire, but his family owns a ranch in Brazil, so I think I understand his POV. Yeah, I know that the meta is to say Lula is a thief, he stole my heart, he is a criminal, he stole my heart, but like, I don't even know if that's the best way to counter it, because clearly, there's a lot of staying power. Bolsonaristas are crying and praying away their loss to Lula. This is awesome. Like, what are you doing, little guy? What's going on? Do you even have any idea what's happening? The judge who ruled Lula's case became the Bolsonaro justice minister. I know. Bolsonaro didn't even show up to talk to them. I know. They didn't even do that. Bolsonaro didn't even give them the dignity to talk to them and be like, hey, I know we lost, but like we'll win again or whatever. He just fucking hid in the palace, and his wife unfollowed him on the day of his major L. And then now he's just potentially plotting a coup, maybe? Who knows? People in Latam take accusations of corruption very seriously and hold them above all else. Yeah, the irony is Latin American governments are insanely fucking corrupt, okay? Left, right, doesn't matter. There's so much fucking corruption happening in Latin American governments, and Lula, ironically, is less corrupt than like 90% of Brazilian politicians, and they still jailed him in what I would consider to be the most corrupt way. In the electric trio, they ask for prayer for God to intervene in the TSC and say they will not accept fraudulent election at the expense of fake news and judicial interference. Projection, by the way. I love the fucking copium and the projection coming from the right here on this issue, specifically because like they literally do fake news. Part of the fake news is saying that, Lula is a criminal. Lula is a criminal. I mean, these are the anti-vaxxers, okay? These are the anti-vaxxers. These are the people who like unironically spread so much fucking fake news. Not only that, but also they also engaged in election interference. They engaged in voter suppression in northern territories where Lula is more popular. It's the exact same shit that we do. Our hogs are like identical to their hogs. Electric trio, which was announcing percentages every 10 minutes, refuses to announce that Lula is elected president and Bolsonaro has been defeated, but Bolsonaristas already know.
O pronunciamento e a orientação do nosso presidente.
Do you see this insane thread saying criminals and cartels are celebrating dude, narco traffickers celebrating the election of corrupt ex-convict leftist Lula da Silva as president of Brazil? Dude, they're making him look so badass, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, Lula came out of prison looking like fucking Iroh. You know what I mean? That's my favorite meme. So was Lula actually corrupt or what? Was he innocent? Yes, bro. Yes. He was innocent. He was innocent. They jailed him because he's a fucking leftist and was popular. I wonder why the fucking fascist administration and his supporters colluded with prosecution and the judges to ensure that this dude went to jail. I wonder how. Like, what are you stupid? The guys that are saying he's a criminal are literally saying that they want to fucking kill Lula supporters because they're socialists. You know what the funniest part about this conversation is? Because Brazilian politics is so similar and like so baby America that like whenever I'm talking about Brazilian politics, it almost feels like I'm talking about American politics while we're simultaneously addressing like for the 700th time, and this started literally yesterday, that Lula is not corrupt or a criminal because television man told you so for years and years. The irony is like we have this exact same shit happening in America in our backyard with like Republicans saying that DePipe was a male prostitute and Paul Pelosi was having homosexual sex with this male prostitute. It's just the same brain rot in every fucking avenue, in every corner is the exact same. okay? I mean, look at what MAGA country is saying. They have the same speech as they did for the U.S. elections. Brazilian military insider contacts. Lula will win the election because they stole it as usual. Bolsonaro will wait to receive reports of the election results plus all the evidence of fraud. This is exactly the same as America, except the only difference is the Brazilian government has a closer history to a military takeover and a military dictatorship than the American government does. Okay, it's viable, and also almost 50% of the country voted for a guy who had time and time again said that military dictatorship in Brazil is far more preferable. So there's definitely some differences there because they have more mobilization than the American Hogs do, because American Hogs are only mad about fucking Applebee's and jalapeno poppers, but they don't have the organizational capacity that like Brazilian fascists do. So this could be a little bit more dangerous than, you know, America.
I'm voted for Bolsonaro, of course.
What's the best thing about Bolsonaro? Why do you like Bolsonaro?
I don't agree with him like 100%. I think he has a lot of flaws, but he's a man of God. He has like the right principles and...
Bro, this is literally direct Trump. Just instead of him saying Bolsonaro, listen to him say Trump. It's the same. This is what I've heard evangelicals say about Trump, dog. The same shit. He's a man of principles, you know, he's a man of God. You know, how he said he was vibing with a 14-year-old girl who he found attractive.
Very sad, in my opinion, to see Brazil in this state where we have to decide between two candidates that just make Brazil such a polarized country, inciting violence, extremes, and I think especially they don't represent any of the young population, right?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Why is it so fucking devastating? I don't understand. What do you mean? Is she talking about Bolsonaro? How is she saying both sides on this? Also, holy fuck, dude. Western media find one non-white person in a Latin American country challenge, impossible difficulty, and make sure that that non-white person isn't the like fucking token Bolsonarista. Holy fuck. Bolsonaro voters pray as rival Lula wins Brazil's presidential runoff. Let's watch some fucking beautiful tears, dude. Keep crying, bitches. Fascist audio, omega lol. Why does this have the same energy as the megachurch Trump cult shit? Why do right-wingers always ride the fascist dick so hard? Bro, this is literally the exact same. The energy is the exact same as Trump supporters fucking crying that Trump lost the election to Brandon, because it is the exact same. Do you understand? The audience is the exact same. The messaging is the exact same. The fucking attitude is the exact same. If you looked at the demographic breakdown, you would literally probably find an identical demographic breakdown of like, you know, a swath of the working poor who have been duped because of like anti-vaxxer conspiracies or anti-LGBT conspiracies, you know, that sort of shit. And then an overwhelming amount of like wealthy people. Here, look. Look at that. There you go. There's functionally no difference between the two. Okay, look. I mean, literally, look at that. They're doing the same shit, dog, because they are the same. It's the same picture. I really get pissed off as a Brazilian. It's really obvious as someone who follows international politics how our hogs are importing 100% of your brain rot here. Oh, dude. And they're using American applications. Like China, we talk about how China is like by way of TikTok breaking the brains of the American population, right? Okay, well, Facebook is doing that with WhatsApp everywhere on the fucking planet. We're doing infinitely worse than what China is doing with TikTok to America everywhere else with WhatsApp and misinformation. Everywhere around the fucking planet. Wherever you see these fucking pieces of shit prop up, crying because they can't like, I don't know, murder trans people or some shit. Also, we got more information from the Bolsonaro crying hogs. It's Hog Watch time. Come to Brazil edition. Hog Watch, come to Brazil edition. Of course, they're saying this is fraud. It's fraudulent.
No movement for Lula exceeded 1 million people. Bolsonaro got 1.5 million on the streets here in Rio de Janeiro last year. This year, it's also the same average. This is a fraud. And if we need to go to the army will have to intervene. Communism...
Yeah. They're calling for a fascist coup d'etat. They're calling for a fascist military dictatorship because that is far preferable in the eyes of, again, fucking fascists than what they believe is a communist rule that is going to happen.
Bolsonaro has his flaws like every man, like every human being has. These are the people who can no longer stand the Workers' Party. These are the people who can no longer stand robbery. And that's it. I wash my hands because I did my bit. I voted conscientiously. I voted knowing that above all, my Brazil cannot be led by a bandit.
Like, I don't understand. Why doesn't anybody be like, okay, what about Bolsonaro? You know what I mean? What about his corruption? How do you feel about that? This motherfucker bought 51 properties in cash. Where did that come from? This motherfucker bought 51 properties in cash, dog. What happened there? You have an issue with that? He's gonna be like, he's a man of God. Man, whoa, he's a man of God, Bolsonaro. He deserves it. He deserves the 51 properties. I wish he was my landlord.
Honestly, victory is when we win. He did not win. This was stolen. The truth is that everyone is disappointed. We were expecting it because of the Supreme Court we have. For sure it was stolen. I sincerely hope that we can reverse this somehow.
He was in jail, nice president. You dumb motherfuckers would be like, Nelson Mandela is a bad person. You literally just turn off a part of your brain that completely forgets that, like, good people, innocent people get locked up all the time. Yeah, that Nelson Mandela guy, he's a fucking terrorist, you know? He is. He's a terrorist. That's what the government said at the time when they locked him up. MLK, also a terrorist. You know, he was doing a lot of racial agitation. We don't like that. Bolsonaro supporters have absolutely no idea what to do because their master is quiet. They don't know if they should protest or just shut up. It's honestly funny to go outside here in Rio. Honestly, it's better that he's shutting the fuck up at this stage, though. Like, obviously the best possible thing would be for Jair Bolsonaro to come out and be like, I'm actually dying. I'm going to the hospital for the 700th time, and this time, you know, it's a real whodunit. I'm dying actually, and also I concede. Like, that would be the best possible outcome, which is not going to happen. But currently, as it stands, him coming out and being like, the election was stolen, like Donald Trump has done. My wife left me, brother, and the election was stolen by fake communist Venezuelans or whatever the fuck he's going to say. And then that the streets should, you should take to the streets and kill Lula supporters or whatever the fuck is not going to be the best possible outcome here. It would be significantly worse. I know his wife legit left him. That wasn't a joke. I know. Just like when you always say politics here is just like team sports as well. People love your candidate and that's it. Bolsonaro could rape children in the middle of the street and the Hogs would love him no matter what. I mean, yeah, he literally said he would. He said he had good vibes with a 14-year-old, dude. He was like, I met a 14-year-old and I thought she was sexy and I asked her to take me to her house. Like, I'm not kidding. Bolsonaro, a couple weeks ago, came out on a fucking Brazilian podcast and said, I was driving around in my little fucking Vespa and I saw a sexy ass 14-year-old girl and we hit it off. We had good chemistry. He said that. He literally said that. I'm not joking. And he was like, can I come to your house? And then he went to the house of the 14-year-old girl, saw a bunch of other, in his words, attractive 14-year-olds getting dressed up. And he asked them, why are you getting dressed up? And they said, well, we're getting dressed up because we're working. And he was like, why are you working on a Saturday? And then he implied that they were prostitutes that were sex trafficked, which is a wild story because turns out they weren't, okay? But also, not only that they weren't sex trafficked and they weren't doing prostitution, if that was the case, why the fuck wouldn't you, as the president, do something about it? Like, he was the president at the time. He's like, yeah, like, even if the story was real, okay, why would you say you were attracted to a 14-year-old? And then why wouldn't you actually, like, save these little girls from being sex trafficked? He was like, yeah, I didn't do anything. What could he do as the president? I don't know. Call the police. What he should have done is not try to fuck a 14-year-old, okay? That's what he should have done. He apparently had some cannibalism sound bites too. I didn't even know that. I'd eat an Indian. Rival sees on unearthed Bolsonaro cannibalism boast. I didn't even know about this one. I didn't even hear about this one. That's fucking wild. He says he went to Suracucu once, and then I started seeing Indian women passing. This guy got like 49% of the vote, okay? Like millions of people voted for this guy. This shit came out, and millions of people were like, that's me. I'm writing for that shit. Understand how fucked up and how similar to the United States of America Brazil is. In many ways, by the way, Indian is indigenous in this circumstance, okay? Carrying bananas, and an Indian guy passes by picking his teeth with a grass blade. I asked, what's going on? I saw a lot of people passing by. An Indian died, and they're cooking him. They cook Indians. It's their culture. The body. They put the body, but not to eat, right? To eat, yes. They cook it for 2-3 days and eat it with bananas. I wanted to see the Indian being cooked. Then he said, if you go, you'll have to eat. I said, I'll do it. He's always yelling. It's so weird. Like, he's always yelling. I said, I'll do it. Then the team, no one wanted to go. He said, come with me. But then the team said they didn't want to go because they'd eaten Indian. As for me, they didn't want to take me along, so I didn't go. I'd eat the Indian, no problem whatsoever. It's their culture. I subjected myself to that, okay? By the way, this never happened. That's the funniest part about his stories, is that, like, his stories are just fake or a complete bastardization of what has actually happened, okay? There's a video of Lula being homophobic, by the way. Search it up, fake news Andy. Damn, dude. That's crazy. Fucking got him, dude. Yeah, who do I think is more homophobic between Lula, a person who has campaigned on LGBT rights, versus Bolsonaro, a person who has fucking campaigned on murdering gay people? Who literally said he would fucking kill his son if his son was gay. I wonder who is more homophobic. I wonder if this chatter cares about homophobia or is just simply trying to weaponize it in this circumstance. This Lula's video was in 2002, and he was homophobic, but it was one moment compared to all the many times Bolsonaro did it. Why the fuck would I give a shit about what Lula said in 2002 when he's running on literally defending LGBT rights? Are you fucking insane? Why would I give a shit about his homophobia 20 fucking years ago in an out of context clip when half of you dumb motherfuckers weren't even born? When the guy he's running up against, when he's running for LGBT rights, the guy he's running against is literally so anti-LGBT that he's made it a permanent staple of his fucking campaign. Remember this? Wasn't Jair Bolsonaro straight up saying that he was gonna kill Elliot Page before, this is a pre-transition, where he literally fucking said to his face, like, insane, bro. Dude, it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing to turn around and be like, hey, don't look at this. Don't look at the 100 times that Jair Bolsonaro has stared directly at the camera and gone, I don't like gay people. I would kill my son if he was gay. Like, he said that, okay? And think about the one time that we caught Lula being homophobic in 2002. They're both bad, but one is clearly worse. No, fuck no. I don't give a shit about some fucking politician who's currently running on a pro-LGBT campaign against the fucking psychopathic fascist who wants to melt trans people because they said something out of context in 2002. I don't give a shit. Get the fuck out of here. There's no both sides in this circumstance. Truckers are blocking roads in 12 states and asking for a Bolsonaro-led coup. I love that. My brilliant truckers, baby. I'm standing in solidarity with my brilliant truckers. Thank God Bolsonaro's out, but you do know Lula is very corrupt, right? I do, and I like it. I love his corruption. I'm a fan.